Hi, this is Daniela Rivera Bryant, and in this lecture we will look at some applications of the supply and demand model. Specifically, we will look at government interventions. First, remember what we know. So we established in our previous lecture that an increase in demand would shift the demand curve out and result in a price increase for the good that we're studying. So an increase in demand increases the price, and in this case, our good is rental housing. Similarly, if there's a shift in the supply curve, if there's a decrease in supply, the price will increase for the same good, all other things equal. We move from E1, the original equilibrium, to E2, where the price is higher and also the quantity consumed is smaller. So now let's move to analyze government intervention, when the government decides to change the price of our good. So we start at the point where supply meets demand, which is point E, the equilibrium point in our system. Don't forget that the red curve is the demand curve and the blue line is the supply curve. So equilibrium in this market occurs when supply and demand meet, and the result of that is about 330 units rented for about $1,100. Now, imagine that the government decides that rent is too high in this neighborhood and we need to do something about it. So they decide to put a cap on the rent price. But when the government sets a cap, a price cap, it tells us that the price set by the government is the market price now. However, we find ourselves in a situation of disequilibrium, because at this price, suppliers are only willing to supply about, the quantity supplied will only be about 220 units. And at that same price, demand is for about 460 units. So when the quantities are not the same that are being supplied and demanded, we find ourselves with a market inefficiency, a place where we have, in this case, excess demand. Of course, since suppliers decide they can only supply 200 units, the new market will act here. Let's call it point A. And in point A, rent will be $750 per month, but we have only 220 units rented. So when we set a price cap, what occurs is we create a market inefficiency. We say the market is not working efficiently because the point A is not the equilibrium point. At point A, we still have trades that can be done. That means some people are still interested in paying more. We have this amount of people from 220 here to 300. All these people say they are still interested in paying more to get the house. And similarly, the suppliers are saying we are interested in supplying more at the equilibrium price. So a price cap will create two types of inefficiencies. We will have a direct inefficiency the fact that all the people in this market that wanted to still be trading at this point are not trading, and we exclude all these people from the demand market who could have paid more, but they are not participating in this market anymore. And the indirect consequence of a price cap is that we will have all these people between 470 to 220, all of them will be looking for an apartment because they will know the price is 750. So that is a cheap neighborhood to live in. However, what they don't know is that we have excess demand and they won't be able to find an apartment once the first 220 people get their apartments. As a summary, when our economy has an equilibrium price of P star and a quantity consumed and produced that we reach between the suppliers and consumers, and the government sets a price cap that is not the equilibrium price, then we have a market inefficiency. And this market inefficiency stems from the fact that we still have available trades. We still have trades in the economy that could be made if we let this market be free. And these trades may be generating, these trades that don't happen may be generating an excess demand or a shortage of the product. Inefficiency in the market has two types of consequences: the direct consequences of not being able to continue to trade, and the indirect consequences of people wasting their time and having the wrong information about this market. That is all for this lecture, and thank you for watching.